Hi guys, how are you? How are you doing? How are you keeping up? This is Gakwe Waireri and this is Real Estate Demystified. It's a show where we talk about everything real estate and I try as much as possible to give you information about real estate, specifically if you're intending to buy anything in real estate. I have given you in the past various issues or various topics on real estate. I have covered various topics. If you haven't watched, please go back and watch. And if you're here and you haven't subscribed, please do, because we intend to share everything we know. In the last 2 weeks, I've been talking about costs, and today I wanted us to talk about documentation. So today we're going to cover documentation when it comes to due diligence. That is the research you do before you get into any type of real estate investment. So stay with me. It's a very cold day in Nairobi. I know you can see a bit of light coming in. Yes, it has just come in, but you can see from the attire it was very cold in the morning in January in Nairobi, but we move. So keep it there. Let's do documentation. Karibu tena. So we're doing documentations today, and in this show I intend to, there's nobody in this seat so I can push it because I'm uncomfortable. Let me be comfortable. Let me be comfortable. So when we talk documentations, there's so many documents that are needed in your journey when you're doing real estate. You will see that there's so many documents, whether these documents, whether you're reading them, just reading them, or whether you have to sign them, or whether you have to share them with somebody, whether they come in triplicate, some of them come in duplicate. There are very many documents that you actually get involved in when you're doing when you're in a real estate journey. When you're in the real estate journey, that's before you buy, during the purchase, and even after the purchase. There's a lot of documentation that you need to check out for. So what I intend this to do is to give you the most basic and the ones you should never miss should you be willing or should you be starting this journey. So today specifically we're just discussing the documents you have before purchase, and this is when now you have done your search, you have gone to all the agents available, you have gone to all the markets available, and you have seen a product that is actually something you would like to get involved in. It's something you'd like to purchase, and now it's the first step. It's when you go and now you want to see, so I have seen your adverts and I've seen your houses and I went and I saw the project or I saw the area you're building and I'm comfortable with it, but I will need several documents just to make sure that this purchase is actually a good one and a good choice for me. It is also important for you to get these documents as you're preparing to purchase for due diligence. This is for you to verify the authenticity of a project. Remember, I have never denied that con people and people who are selling things that are not existing, they are there. We cannot deny it. Not just in this industry, they are there even in other industries and even in other services that we provide. So for you to be sure that what you're buying is, first of all, a very good choice for you, and secondly is authentic. is authentic. It is something that is genuine. It is something that is approved. There are few documents that you can ask for even before you get to that point of negotiations and even choosing the apartment that you want. So I will start with that, and the first document, or rather the first thing you have to look out for, which many people do not, is something we call a change of user advert. Change of user, this is a publication. It is a public publication that appears in the national paper. I know you have seen them, and I will attach a photo of it here. This is a public notification. It is meant for the public. It is meant to inform the public that a certain piece of land is being changed from what it is currently to something else. So if it is a land where there's a single house for a single dwelling family, they are notifying the public that there is somebody who is interested to transform that single dwelling land into a multi-dwelling land by building several units on that land. They also notify maybe it was an agricultural piece of land where farming used to take place, and now they are changing that into residential or into a commercial space. Those ones you see on the change of user, if nobody comes forth to the specific authorities or to who is concerned and they say that I am against it, if they run in the paper for the period of time that they are supposed to run, I'm not sure whether it's 2 weeks or 1 week or how many days they're supposed to run, but if somebody does not come in and say they have contentious issue with that piece of land and you have publicized it and it's in the paper and it has stayed there and nobody has complained, then the progress of getting approvals for the developer or for the person who is building will go ahead. That is a document that most people do not ask for. However, when you get into the purchasing process, you will realize that this document is actually mentioned severally, and it is even mentioned more by those who are being financed to purchase, because it is proof that the land is being built without any contentious issue. Nobody in the family which is owning the land or nobody anywhere is actually complaining about the construction. So that is usually the first document, and most people do not recognize it or do not even ask for it. When you approach a developer, they usually have it. You can ask them, do you have your change of user? And they will give you a documentation that came from that publication. The publication is on the paper, but if it goes through, then there is a document that proves that the change of user request was approved. So you have to have that, because if that has not happened, no construction should take place. So that is usually the first document. The second document you have to ask for is the title deed. The title deed is a document, we all know what a title deed is. It is a document that proves ownership of a certain piece of land. Now, when it's a development, the title deed should read either the name of the project or the name of the developer. Either the name of the project or the name of the developer. If it reads a name of somebody who is not in the company, you should ask why. It does not necessarily mean that there is a problem with the title deed. It might mean that the person who owns the land originally is not selling it, wants to retain the ownership of the land even after construction. So it does not necessarily mean that this is a wrong purchase. However, it is something you should be alert about, because once you purchase, it means that you have ownership or part ownership into the title. So you have to ask, if this title is not in the name of the development or it's not in the name of the developer, how will it be transferred from the developer to me? You get? So for instance, here in General Matenge, where I do all my recordings, we have land. This land, we have brought up 52 units on it. We are in the process of finishing the 52 units. The title deed does not read the name of the previous landowner. It reads Oyster Pearl Limited, which is the name of the development that we are doing. So everybody who buys into this project knows that they will have a share in the title deed that belongs to Oyster Pearl, who they are part of because of purchase. You became part owner of that title once you purchased. So you need to ask for the title deed, mostly to look at the name. The second thing you're looking at when you have the title deed is the lease period. I had mentioned when we were talking about costs in the other videos, if you haven't watched, please go watch it, that most of the developments, especially in Nairobi, they are done in leasehold land. This means that there is a lease period attached to the title and attached to the ownership of the land for a certain period of time. It might be 99 years, it might be 50 years. But remember, once the construction starts, the lease period starts going down. The lease period starts diminishing. So you need to look at the title and see that I am buying this property, they have a title, and this title, the lease period is up to 99 years, and 99 years was 3 years ago. So you minus the 3 from 99, and you know that you have 96 years to go. It is important for you to know the lease period, especially if you're being financed by a bank or another financial institution to do the purchase. I will talk about this with a financial expert from a bank, somebody from a mortgage, because I know for a fact that if you're being given a mortgage and that mortgage is supposed to run for 30 years, you're paying that mortgage for 30 years, those 30 years have to be within the lease period of the title deed. You can't be paying a mortgage for 30 years and the lease period you have brought is for 10 years. So it is important for you to look at the title so that first you know who the owner is, and secondly you look at the lease period. Another information that is available on the title deed is for you to know whether the title deed has been charged to somebody. It is possible that the title deed you will get is not an original. You will probably get a copy of the title because most developers have their developments funded. And when a bank funds them, they retain the original title deed. So don't be surprised why you're just seeing copies. It is because they have the copy, because the original has been charged to a bank. So you will be able to see from the last entry that this development is charged to. For instance, this one, it is charged to Oyster Pearl by Bank XYZ. You get? So you will see that last entry, because if you have the title deed, it is in the right name, it has the right number of lease years, it has the right number, you're good with the lease years. But then when you go to where it has been charged to an individual, and it is claiming, and the developer is not charged to the developer, it is charged to another individual. You have to clarify and say, why is it charged? Does it have debt? Because that is how you would know. So those are two documents. The change of user, which says that that land, it is acceptable for building to happen, acceptable mostly by the public, mostly by the people who would be affected most. You get? If they have a change of user, it means the people who will be affected most by that development have no problem with it. So that is why they have gotten a change of user approval. The second one you will get is the title deed, which proves authenticity, time of lease, and whether any debt is owed to the land. Once you have gotten this one, now you start asking for the approval documents from the county council or from the offices that are in charge, depending on which county you're in. So approval documents usually are documents that say that the county council of Nairobi or the Ministry of Land or any other ukasawa? The approval documents are the documents that say that the county council of this specific town or the county council of that city is aware that this project is going on and it has met their criteria and it will be approved. It has been, not will be, it has been approved and therefore it can commence. If those approvals even say that it has approved that construction to take place in the next 2-3 years. So if a project is running for more than 1 year, then you know that there is a government office somewhere that is aware that a certain project in Westlands is running for the next 2 or 3 years and it is approved. It is important for you to see approved documents because you do not want to get involved in a project that has not been approved, because what will happen is that it will be clamped down. Once the construction starts, sometimes these delays where they come and watch out and see if there's anybody doing illegal things, sometimes they take time. And you see that a construction has gone on for the last 1.5 years, nobody has ever stopped it. But then all of a sudden, the county council authority, they come in and say, no, this has never been approved. Why are you building here? We have clamped this and you've already purchased. So it is important for you to see the approval documents so that you can know that what you're getting into is genuine and known. There is also another document that you get. You get the drawings. There's something I need to tell you. Structural drawings are usually available, especially if the development has already commenced, and they're usually available at the site. I will attach here, showing you the approval documents, because you can see here they have a muhuri for the city council. These are the approval drawings by the council. Now, approval drawings approve structure, and you may not be able to understand them if you do not have a certain background in construction. So if you're just lay person like most of us, you may not be able to understand exactly what the approval document or the structural document is showing. The structural document is the one that shows how many floors they're building, what is the thickness of the walls, how much are the balconies protruding outside, what is the size of the beam, what is the size of the collar, what is the color of the outside, what glass width are they using. These are the structural approval drawings. These ones, that's why maybe in most cases, if you have ever gone to a development that has begun and you told them, oh, this is so nice, but can I do interior changes or can I do some changes? They will strictly tell you, yes, you can do changes, but within your unit, you cannot do any change that is outside because the outside has been approved as is. Or you can do changes provided the change you do in your unit does not affect the person living above or below you or any other member of this place. That is why you will see that most changes usually don't happen once the project has begun. They happen before. And that is why there are off-plan sales and off-plan showcases. So that if people come with suggestions that are seeming similar, there at that period, the developer usually has flexibility to change. But when a project has gone on, like now where we are in Oyster Pearl, we are on the 12th floor right now and we're going to the 13th floor, the changes here have to be very small. They have to be the interior, and we are talking about a color of your wall and maybe the color of the paint and maybe what, but you cannot change how the balcony looks, you cannot change how the color outside looks, you cannot change where a structural beam is. So that is why it is important for you to see that they have structural drawings that are actually approved. The one thing I don't want you to confuse with, structural drawings are not available in a brochure. This is a brochure. This is a brochure for Oyster Pearl General Madenge. In fact, this brochure is not the very recent one. However, it contains most of the information that we have about this project. But there is something I'd like you to focus on. At the end of this brochure, once you have read it, you have seen the good stuff, you have seen everything that we are selling, and we have shown you everything, you see, we have shown you. At the very last page, we say particulars here, particulars not warranted. Forget this number. Forget that. Particulars not warranted. Meaning that the photos you see here are not the real representation of what is coming up. So this is not what you depend on to make decisions as to whether you want that house or not. It is good because it gives you the 3D renders. It gives you images just to show you how an apartment or a house will look like. But it is not what you depend on to decide whether the house is big enough or small enough. What you depend on is the structural drawing and is the show house once you visit or the site once you visit. If you are good with numbers, if you're good with sizes, then you can be able to tell. But brochures are these are usually just for marketing purposes. They are not the legal or the good representation. They are not it. They do not represent the real image or the real development quality. Structural drawings, approved structural drawings for that matter, are the ones that do it. So when you have identified a project, please make sure at least these 5 things: the change of user, approval documents from the county council, structural approved drawings, the title deed, those 4, make sure you have seen them. Because now those 4 are the ones that guarantee what the project is going to look like. Brochures are for marketing, and they probably will give you more information about what other amenities will be available and what the features, aesthetic features of this development are, and of course directions and all that. So if you go to any project that is beginning or any project that is ongoing and you are interested in that project, please make sure you get this first. Then use this, go online and do your due diligence. Involve a lawyer or somebody you know who is good with consultancy. Let them check for you to see if this is an authentic project and if it is a project that meets what you are looking for. Yeah? So those are the first documents you look at. Now, these are the standard. When you start looking, you will find others. You will come across others, especially if you're not looking for a unit. But I have already said in previous videos, my niche is usually mostly in construction, that is selling units or houses that are either being constructed, about to be constructed, or finished. When it comes to land, I know you just need the title deed. Yes, you just need the title deed. You go, do a search, see that this title deed is actually owned by the company that is selling, or it is owned by the person that is selling, or if it is on the market, there is a certain approval that the government is aware of, where this land probably has had some divisions happen, and that's why they are able to sell it in pieces, because they have approval for the same. So always make sure you go for the due diligence documents even before you talk about price, even before you talk about how do I pay. First of all, make sure you have all these documents to prove authenticity. In the next video, that is next week, in the next video, we will cover the documents you will find during now the purchase process. That is after you have verified you are good, it's authentic, it's real, it's genuine, you're fine with everything legal about it. Now you're getting into the process of purchasing. Now let's see which documents you will come across now. And when you do, we'll see what you're supposed to do with them, who you're supposed to present it to. Okay? Thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys, for listening, and thank you for viewing. Please subscribe. Please, if you haven't subscribed, it's the only thing you can do to support this. It's the only thing you can do. Please subscribe, follow, share if this information is needed by somebody somewhere that you know. Share it. It'll cost you nothing, and I know God will bless you and keep you. And thank you so much for all those who've been following, all those who have subscribed. May God bless you, and let's see you next time as we discuss more documents. Bye.